Keep your focus here. Here comes question 1. Quick check. Which AWS service helps enforce compliance by auditing resource configurations? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option D. Config continuously monitors resources for compliance drift. AWS Config audits resource configurations to ensure compliance with governance standards by continuously monitoring and evaluating AWS resource configurations. Hey, Stack Lessons again. Today's batch is 10 questions, all covering compliance services, ML pipeline stages, and model evaluation metrics. 6 seconds on the clock per question, then the answer and a quick explanation. Pause when you need to. Let's dig in. Count every one you get right. Your score matters at the end. All right, here is question 2. Quick check. Which AWS service helps monitor and log API activity for compliance purposes? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option A. Trail logs actions, watch logs metrics. The names tell you. AWS CloudTrail monitors and logs API activity, supporting compliance and security requirements by providing detailed audit trails of all API calls and user actions. All right, question 3. Read it carefully. What is a common legal risk associated with generative AI systems? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option C. When a model outputs content it was trained on verbatim, generative AI systems can pose legal risks like intellectual property infringement if outputs replicate copyrighted content, potentially violating copyright laws and licensing agreements. Okay, question 4. Solve the situation, not the keyword. The team needs to segment viewers with similar content consumption behaviors. Which unsupervised learning technique should they use? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option C. No labels, group by similarity. That's clustering every time. Clustering groups viewers with similar content consumption patterns together, enabling targeted content recommendations and personalized experiences. Here we go, question 5. The answer hinges on one qualifier. A financial services organization needs to deploy the trained model to a hosting environment for inference. Which Amazon SageMaker pipeline step should they use? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option C. Training gets data through the model. Deploying requires a different step. The create model step is used to deploy the trained model to a hosting environment, enabling inference capabilities for production applications. 6 in, compliance services distinguished, ML pipeline stages correctly sequenced, and unsupervised clustering locked. Service naming precision and stage ordering are both tested directly on this exam. Next up, question 6. Separate context from noise. A data science team is developing an ML model to predict customer churn. As part of the initial data analysis, the team has visualized feature distributions, calculated summary statistics, and analyzed feature correlation matrices. What stage of the machine learning pipeline is the team working on? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option D. Visualizing distributions and computing correlations before building, that's EDA, The team is performing exploratory data analysis, ADA, by analyzing data distributions, statistics, and correlations before building the model. Model training involves feeding data to algorithms. Feature engineering transforms features, and model evaluation assesses trained model performance. These activities of understanding data characteristics are classic EDA tasks. Let's slow down here. Knowing which pipeline stage you're in is a classic exam trap. Imagine you've just been handed 50,000 rows of customer data and you have no idea what's in it. Before you build anything, you need to look around, plot histograms, check how features relate to each other, spot outliers. That's EDA. Feature engineering is the next step where you actually reshape or create columns. Model training is when you feed that clean data to an algorithm. Evaluation is after training, when you check the scores. The exam loves to test whether you can tell EDA from feature engineering. The giveaway is visualize distributions and correlation matrices. That's detective work on raw data. That's EDA, not building features. Next up, question 7. Pay attention to what is really asked. To enhance its customer support chatbot, ConnectSphere Inc. takes a pre-trained general-purpose LLM and further trains it on a smaller, curated dataset of their own customer service interactions and product FAQs. This process of adapting a pre-trained model to a specific task or domain is known as select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option B. Pre-trained, then adapted on domain data. The exam loves this pattern. Fine-tuning is the process of taking a pre-trained foundation model and further training it on a smaller, task-specific dataset. This adapts the model's learned knowledge to perform better on the targeted task or domain, like customer service. Now, question 8, translate the story into requirements. A legal firm, LexiTranscribe Services, needs to convert hours of recorded client depositions from audio files into accurate, readable text documents for review and archiving. They require a service that can handle various accents and noisy environments, which AWS AI service is designed for automatic speech recognition, ASR. Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option C. ASR converts spoken audio to text. One service owns that on AWS. Amazon Transcribe is an automatic speech recognition ASR service that makes it easy for developers to add speech-to-text capability to their applications. It can transcribe audio from various sources and supports features like speaker identification and custom vocabularies. Now, question 9. Convert the story into selection criteria. A customer service organization is building a machine learning model for its support chatbot. They need to evaluate how closely the chatbot's responses match those of human agents. The organization also wants to optimize the chatbot's response speed. What is the most appropriate metric to evaluate the chatbot's response similarity to human agent answers? Select one answer. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answer is option C. Semantic similarity needs contextual embeddings, not surface-level n-gram counts. BERT score is most appropriate as it uses BERT embeddings to understand context and semantic meaning when comparing generated text to references. It's specifically designed to evaluate text similarity in a way that captures nuanced meaning. Meteor focus on translation evaluation, MSE is for numerical predictions, and Rougin only measures n-gram overlap without deeper semantic understanding. Let's slow down here. This one trips up a lot of candidates who know what Rougin does. Imagine your chatbot replies about a week to a refund question. The human agent said 5 business days. Same meaning, totally different words. Rouge and counts matching word sequences. It sees no shared phrases and scores that response poorly. BERT score works differently. It uses BERT, a language model that reads for meaning. It sees about a week and 5 business days as nearly identical in context. It scores the chatbot high. That's the exam trap. Rougen sounds right because it measures text similarity, but it's just word counting. BERT score measures meaning. For a chatbot mimicking human agents, the question rewards semantic understanding, not exact word matches. Let us keep moving. Question 10. Test each option against the full ask. Which of the following can Amazon SageMaker Clarify perform? Select 2 answers. Review the answer choices on screen. The correct answers are option B and option E. 2 answers are right, and 3 plausible sounding distractors are not Clarify's job. SageMaker Clarify focus on bias detection and explainability. It can detect bias in pre-training data before model training and identify bias in post-training data during deployment. It doesn't provide synthetic data generation, data augmentation, or hyperparameter optimization functionalities. Let's slow down on Clarify. It does less than you think, and that's exactly the trap. Imagine you're building a loan approval model. Before you train, Clarify scans your dataset for imbalance. Say only 8% of your training applicants are women. Clarify flags that. That's pre-training bias detection. After training, Clarify checks the model's actual predictions for unfair patterns. That's post-training bias detection. Both are Clarify's job. What Clarify does not do, generate fake data, augment your training set, or tune hyperparameters. Those are completely different tools. The exam will offer you those wrong answers. The punchline: Clarify equals bias and explainability only, nothing else. 3 takeaways from this session. First, AWS Config audits resource configurations. CloudTrail logs API calls, swapping them on the exam costs points. Second, EDA always precedes feature engineering and model training. The ML pipeline order is tested directly and precisely. Third, BERT score captures semantic meaning via contextual embeddings. Rouge N only counts n-gram overlap. Choose carefully for text generation evaluation. Compliance and governance open this one. Bias detection and semantic metrics closed it. That gap between what a service does and what it strictly does not is exactly where the exam hunts for points. Keep that precision sharp. Before the next set, a quick ask. Subscribing keeps these free and in front of new students, so if it helped, please do. Tell me in the comments how you scored and which questions you'd want more on. If there's a cert you're chasing that I haven't covered, suggest it below. And honest feedback on the pacing or the look is always welcome.